Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Bound Journals. Today I am going to have fun making some altered library cards. So a while ago, a friend who works in a library, she's a librarian, she gave me a whole bunch of these old library cards that they don't use anymore, and I absolutely love them, and I've been using them just as is like this, but also I've had fun turning them into these altered library cards with some collage, and some of them have stickers over the top, focus on the good, some doily, often just using what's in my scrap basket right here. And I've got some wallpaper pieces, some vintage music paper, piano paper, some scrap pieces of coffee dye paper. Some of them have some ledger, like here. Others I did a bit more blank so that there's more writing space on them. But of course you can write on the back as well, which I love. I just stitched around the edges, and also I inked the edges. So I had a lot of fun, as you can see here. This isn't even all of them that I've made. I've put some into journals that I've made, and I still got a whole bunch here. I absolutely love them, and I've got a whole beautiful stack of cards here that I will want to alter as well. And I think I want to play around with some different designs and maybe do some more blank ones as well, so I can maybe put it in my typewriter and type up a quote or a sentiment on them. But yeah, I thought I'd just put the camera on today while I have a play and make up some more. And a whole bunch of these are already turned into printables, so those are available over on my Patreon, and when I make up more packs I can add them to these. Obviously not the copyrighted ones, but the ones that are more vintage. Those ones are already up on my Patreon. But I was looking through my cards, and I have 9 sheets of 4, so it's an A4 sheet with 4 to a sheet, and I've got 9, and I was looking through them and thinking, no, I need at least 10. So I'm going to make 4 more at least today. And usually what happens though is I get on a roll, and I then just keep on going and going and going. But I want a round number. I want 10 printables, 10 printable pages. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to start by ripping up some of this piano paper. And this is a great way to use up scraps. I'm even thinking that I want to just do a random collage on the back of the card, and then I would like to see if I can cover it over with tissue paper, you know, from those sewing patterns, and then that way I can have more of a muted background, and just, I think that would look really, really cool. But for this one I'll just do the same as what I've been doing so far, and all I do is start off with some sort of base, whether it's coffee dye paper, ledger, or music paper, or book page. See, I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here, lots of stuff. Whoops. So it's just a matter of choosing different items, ripping things up, and having fun. So if you have some scraps lying around, then maybe you want to join me, because you don't need to just use library cards. If you just have a scrap bit of paper, you can use that. Manila folder I love using, tags, journal cards, whatever. It's all fun. I do cover up the hole. You don't have to. You can cut that out later if you want, or not cover it at all. But I don't mind. I'm just going to cover that. I just like the cream colour of the card. And you could go all the way to the edges as well if you want, but I like having it sewn around the edge and inked, and so I don't really need to go all the way to the edges. It's nice having a bit of a border really. But yeah, go the edges if you want. That's totally cool. And then you can just trim around the edges afterwards. And then I'm just going to rip this one in half, and maybe we can do that. And I'm just going to cut off this line here. I was making some journal pages out of this piano paper, and you can see my mark where I've ruled where to measure it. Now I'm just trying to think. So this is how I kind of get them all cohesive as well. So if I work on some at the same time, they can all go together. So if you've got a journal project, you can add them in to the same journal, or as I'm creating a printable here for like a one-page sheet, a one-sheet page, I don't know, then they're all going to go together and be part of, you know, like a set. And I've got this gorgeous wallpaper that I might want to use. I've got some doily that I might want to use. Lovely doily. Just trying to think, do I want to, I don't have another piece like this, so I'm just going to move that here and maybe put that one there, like that. And this one can go here, and then that can be my base, I think. And then I do want a little bit of something else, so let's have a look. We might just get a bit of, I like having contrast of all different types of things. So we've got different color tones, and we've got, you know, piano paper, music paper, and then also some text. So some book page. And I think that may look nice if I layer things up. And this one maybe can just go here. And then have another look through. All right, this is when I probably need to rip up some other pieces. And I should probably use all the same. Well, you don't have to, but this is a bit of a darker color tone and very, very fragile paper. This came from a very vintage book and very, very fragile. So let's have a look here. See how we go. Yeah, I quite like that. And then I'm just going to grab my glue stick and I'm going to start gluing things down. So it's a really super easy, relaxing project. That's why I can, you know, get on a roll and just keep going and going and going. Okay, now what came next? This one came next, I believe. Yeah. So I hope you guys are going well. Let me know what you're doing while you're watching this video. Always fun to craft together, or even just hang out together. I'll keep you company while I craft. While you might be doing some chores around the house, or see, I think I want something bigger there. We'll figure that out. I like using Edith Holden scrap pieces too, because, you know, when you use a little piece of her handwriting or the script text in the book, it just looks lovely on top of the collage. So even when I cut out my Edith Holden pages or make tags, you're left with, you know, some little offcuts, and they're wonderful to add to these types of collages. All right, coming together. And let's go down here. And then this one. So yeah, simple, easy collage process. Just get some scraps, different types of vintage papers if you want to make a vintage collage. And that way everything will kind of go together, but there's still some interest if you use a variety of different pieces, different color tones and different markings on the page. And the piano paper is nice because even though it doesn't have markings, well, some have a bit of writing, but mostly they're a bit plain. That's cool too because it gives the eye somewhere to rest, a bit of space to rest. And depending, like, I'm not too worried about creating journaling space on the front because the back, that's what the back is for. But you could definitely do a collage where you're creating enough writing space for you on the front, whether it's a tiny little bit of writing space to write a quote or a date or a sentiment. Oops, that one is not going there. What have I done? Oh, it was going there. Oh well. Now it's going here. And that's the thing, you just go with the flow. Great thing with collage and junk journals is that you can always change things and fix things because you just add a layer. That's all you need to do. Just add a layer. So anything that you don't like, just add a layer on top. Sort of the same with art and mixed media. If you don't like that layer, just add another layer of paint. Okay, now where do I want this? I did have it up there, but I think to keep it consistent, no, I'm happy having that here. That's fine. There we go. And then here. Yes, perfect. Now, what am I going to do to fill in the gap? So, do I want to just add a little strip of some wallpaper, like so. Now, it's not going to be impressive enough. There's some blank space. Okay, that one I think will work. Yeah, I probably would want the music paper to go over the top. Just have a look. Yeah, I might just want it a little bit more. Yeah, I don't mind if there's a bit of a gap. and because I am going to be sewing around it anyway, so it will sort of fill in that gap. Yay! And that just adds a little bit of colour and a bit of a focal point too. I got this beautiful wallpaper from an antique place quite a while ago now, while I was in Melbourne. See, this one doesn't need much. This little corner here. Beautiful. I like this one here. In fact, I don't think I need... Just, it only needs a little hint of it. There we go. Now, if you don't have wallpaper, you can cut out floral illustrations if you want. We don't even need a colour piece. You can just keep, you know, collaging. Now, here, perfect. Alright, I think that's quite long or wide, because I don't want it to overtake the collage, the neutrals. That's why you only need a tiny little piece, otherwise it becomes overbearing. Okay, that's better. But it just lifts it, doesn't it? Just adding this little piece here, it just lifts it all. And yeah, like I said, not worried about this gap here. I will be inking and sewing around that. And let's have a look. What shall I put here? That's quite a nice piece. Quite like that, because it's a different looking piece. I wonder if I could use that. Maybe yeah, I think I can do that again, because I'll ink at the top and the sewing becomes part of the card. Yeah, there we go. I love them. Yay. So yeah, I'm happy with this lot. Next I want to play around with, yeah, maybe just some more neutral ones without any colour. And I want to play around with some writing ones where it's more blank space on the front, so you can actually write on the front. But for the example, this one, this is where I would write. If I had this, I'll just write my little piece there, here, here, and here. So just a little bit of journaling on those. And yeah, I want to make some more where it's still nice and collaged, but more of this blank space taking over the card so that I can write more. And yeah, and then I'll experiment with some whole big collages where I'm not too fussed about the placement. Like these ones, I was pretty particular in where I was placing everything. But the ones where I'm going to put the tissue paper over the top, I can just kind of do whatever underneath. So yeah, I love them. I'm really happy with these. Yay. So this will be part of the printable pack now. So I'll have 10 pages. If you'd like to access them, head on over to my Patreon, and it's the Ruby tier or higher that gets access to all the printables. Hope you enjoyed this little crafty process tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.